Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. Got a little rain yesterday, and batten down the hatches, as they say, for tomorrow. We're supposed to get a atmospheric river coming our way on Tuesday, Wednesday. 3 to 5 inches of rain. It's going to be pouring in there. That's good. We need it, right? But make sure yeah, get your bike out of the yard, put it in the garage or something, right? Hey, you know the drill. Hope you did well on the chapter 4 test. If not, I hope you go through the things that you missed and try to learn how to do them correctly. That's what us teachers are for. We'd love to have you come ask us questions. Um, do the warm up by copying this down and then coming back and seeing how you did, okay? All right, see you in a bit. Okay, first diamond, don't forget what goes on top. The product, that's the answer to a multiplication problem. What goes on the bottom? The sum. So what two numbers, what do you call the numbers that make a product? They're called factors, right? And what do you call the numbers that make a sum? They're called add-ins. Add-ins, all right? So what two numbers make a product of 42 and a sum of 13? Hopefully you got this one. If you don't have that one, you just aren't watching my warm up enough. You're not trying enough, right? And what times what is 256? Well, I know 4 times 64, 2 times 128. There's got to be something else, right? Right? 8 times 32? I want it to equal 32. Some of you have memorized 16 times 16 is 256. If you don't have that memorized, write it on your hand in ink. Right? So it'll be there for a day or two, right? And look at it and memorize it. All right. What two numbers have a product of 600ths and a sum of 5/10? Well, 2/10 and 3/10. Remember, when you add decimals, you need to stack them with the decimal lined up one on top of another. What you're doing is you're lining up the place value, right? The ones place, right? The tenths place. Okay, and 2/10 and 3/10 is 5/10. When I multiply, I go 3 times 2 is 6. I don't care about the decimal to start. I pretend like it's not there, actually. But to pretend this was not there, that means I pretended it was over here. It was a 2, right? That's when it's not there. All right, you don't have to have it if it's to the right of the decimal, right? Same thing here. I moved it over. So that's twice in my problem. I had to move the decimal over. So I have to move it back 2 spots in my answer. Okay? All right, that stump you on this next one? 10 and a half, 6 and a half. This one works out to being 3 times 3 and a half. Now think about what 3 and a half is, right? 1, 2, 3 and a half, right? Now if I have one of those and then another of those, and then a third of those, I would have 3, 6, 9, and 3 halves. Those 2 halves would make 10 and a half, 10 and a half. Okay? All right, we will learn other ways of doing that. Here's a key thing that you want to learn if you don't already know, because it really helps you decipher and decode word problems. What does the word of usually mean? This is something that a lot of kids, for some reason, they think it means divide, and it doesn't. What it means is times. So write this big somewhere, and if you don't have that memorized, write it on your next 3 papers or something. Big on the top, I mean, get those easiest 3 points and have your name and stuff, but write that somewhere where you're going to see it. If you cooked a lot in the kitchen, I'd say write it on a big piece of paper and put it on the fridge. Of means times. Okay. All right. Now, multiplying fractions is what? Hopefully, you not just wrote this in caps locks, but punctuated it correctly. There's a period there. This needs an exclamation point. You know what I think is kind of cool about Spanish? Is they put, when they have exclamation points or question marks, they put one upside down to start the sentence. So you don't read the whole sentence and then find out it's a question. Or read the whole sentence, then find out there's an exclamation point. You're supposed to say it with more exclamation, right? With more authority, right? More power. So I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, so you'll see that sometimes when you read books in other languages. It's pretty cool. All right, so multiplying fractions is easy. Why is it easy? Because if I were adding 4/5 and 3/7, I'd have to worry about a common denominator. I'd change this to 35ths, and it would be 7 times 5. So I go 28 35ths. I'd have to change this to 35ths. I say 7 times 5, so I go 3 times 5, 15. Then I go 28 plus 15 is 43 35ths. Yeah, that's a lot of work. You know what you have to do when you multiply? 4 times 3 on top, 5 times 7 on the bottom. Boom, mic drop. I'm out of here. I'm all done, right? That's all it took. That's kind of cool. Sometimes you got to simplify. So 2 times 7 is 14, and 3 times 8 is 24. Now, you notice both of these are even, so I need to simplify this, right? I say 2 goes into 14 7 times, and 2 goes into 24 12 times, so 7 twelfths. Okay, what does of mean in math? Whenever you see it in a word problem, you get to do that now. It means times. 3/4 of 5/8 is 3/4 times 5/8. And 3 times 5 and 4 times 8. Boom, I'm done. 3 times 2 is 6. 8 times 3 is 24. Now 6 goes into 24, right? So I'm going to simplify this. 6 goes into 6 once, 24 4 times. All right. Man, we're cruising. 4 to the third power. That's not 12. It's 4 times 4, which is 16, times another 4. Don't add that last one. Times. All right. This is 4 times 4 times 4. So 16 times 4 is 64. 5 times 5 times 5 is 25 times 5. 5 quarters, $1.25. 6 times 6 times 6 is 36, right? 6 times 6, 36 times 6. So 6 30s and 6 6s, 180 and 36, 216. 7 to the second. Oh, I fooled you, didn't I? That's not 14, though. 49. Now, 49 times 7. In your head, you're saying 7 times 49. That's just like 7 times 50 minus 1, right? And 7 times 50 is 350. 7 times 1 is 7. What's 350 minus 7? 343. All right, 8 to the third power. 8 times 8, 64. And 64 times 8 is how much? 8 60s, 480. 8 4s, 32. That's going to be 512. That's twice as big as 256. 9 times 9 times 9 is 81 times 9. You could do 9 80s, 720. And 9 1s, 9. That ends up being 729. And what's the trick with tens and powers? It's going to be 1 with that many zeros. 1,000, 1 grand, right? 1K. Kilo. All right. We have the generic rectangle to help us multiply. And we're going to say 30 times 60 is 18 with a couple of zeros moving to the right. 3 times 30 is 90. 6 times 4 is 24. So 60 times 4 is 240. And 3 times 4. Okay. Now I go add those up. I have 1,800. I have, 90. Put it in the right place, right? 240 and 12. And then I get 14, 11, 2,142. And let's do it the standard algorithm and double check. 4 times 3 is 12, carry the 1. 4 times 6 is 24 plus 1, 25. I put a placeholder because that 3 is really 30, right? 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 6 is 18. Let's add them up. 2,142. Must have done it right. Now, this is kind of cool. This is one of the things I like about this book. You guys know that there's parts of this book that frustrate me and I don't like that much, but this is one of the areas I like. You can teach kids how to multiply mixed numbers with a generic rectangle. So I'm really multiplying 6.5 times 4 1/3 here, right? 6.5 and 4 1/3. 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times a half. Remember, multiply a fraction is easy. How do you turn that into a fraction? Put a 1 under it. So straight across the top, 4 times 1. Straight across the bottom, 1 times 2. 4 halves is the same as 2 wholes, or 2. 6 over 1 times 1 over 3 is 6 over 3. That's the same as 2 over 1, or 2. And 1 half times 1/3, 1 times 1 on top, 2 times 3 on the bottom. So I end up with 24 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1/6. Okay, so 1/6 and 28. Now, the way we used to teach that, I think, is a little bit more difficult, but some of you might like it. I would turn both these into fractions, improper, using that C method. Remember C method? 2 times 6 is 12 plus 1 is 13. And 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13. But that one's going to be over 3. 13 times 13 is 169. 2 times 3 is 6. And then this improper fraction, I got to divide the bottom into the top, right? How many times does 6 go into 169? Well, it goes into 16 twice. Bring down the next number. It goes into 49 8 times, right? Because that's 48. And then my remainder goes on top, divisor on the bottom, 28/16, 28/16. Boom. All right, you guys. Have a great rest of your Monday. Have a great week. All right? Got to. This is the last week of January. And you know what happens Friday? Mr. Daniel, Mrs. Daniel's anniversary. Yeah, 27 years. She put up with my dumb jokes that long? Should probably get her a medal or something, huh? All right, you guys. Have a great week.